Biden's budget, G. Crazytown. Roll it.
Hey, everybody, how are you? Moms demand action. We're going to get action. Hey, you know what?
I don't know
His
where
mom's watching, Tina.
Who?
Tina? I don't know. I wish you were here. I could meet you, but they speak with a little bit of an accent in southern Delaware, talk at you like this, you know what I mean? You look at that fella and you say, you done good with that boy. You know, I told your son, he got good blood. When I grew up, my dad's kitchen table, not a whole lot trickled down economics into my kitchen table for my dad. I'm not going to lay out the entire budget. That would take the rest of the day. But no, it's a detailed budget. But I want to give you the contours of what we're for and how it's in stark contrast to what appears to be what the other team is for. It's not just whether inflation. We brought down inflation 7 months in a row. We're going to whip it.
Please.
But in the meantime, there's other ways to take what is inflation in your budget. I won't embarrass them by pointing out, I don't have permission, but I just met a woman who has health care costs that are $600,000 a year, $7,000 a month. It's going to save the government.
$84,000.
It's going to reduce the deficit.
That's calculated.
$160 billion. These guys keep saying, how are you going to cut the deficit? Well, guess what? If your tax dollars don't have to go up paying all that exorbitant price for Medicare to drug companies, and it's rational, it's going to save $160 billion in tax dollars. Talk about being deprived of your dignity.
Where these numbers come from?
Well, not anymore. The MAGA Republicans want to take away the law. One of the things they've announced, they want to do away with the Inflation Reduction Act. Okay, well, we have a difference in budget ideas, man. More than budget ideas. But anyway, I can tell a story, and my dad would probably be mad at my telling it were he alive. We lived in a 3-bedroom split-level home. Nice. I mean, it was a nice home. We were a middle-class family with 4 kids and a grandpa. And the bed my headboard was against in the room with myself and my 2 brothers was against the wall my dad was. My dad was really restless. You could hear it one night. He could hear the bed. Folks, no one can deny we have a climate crisis. You have all these environmental problems that are so profound, they're hard to deny. That's why I took the most aggressive action ever in all of history in any country to take on the climate crisis by lowering your home energy bills, which MAGA Republicans voted against.
You haven't done that.
We've now gotten to the point where it's cheaper to generate electricity from wind and solar than it is from coal and or fossil fuels. And I'm from Scranton.
That's not true.
Heat pumps,
That's a lie.
the new heat pumps, they can heat the whole damn house. No, I'm serious, not a joke.
Oh, stop.
See, that's how
If
you
you
know he's
need a
lying.
heater and you need
That's
to buy
his
one of
tell.
those heat pumps, you get a tax credit for doing it. We're going to go all
tax
electric. And that's going to save billions of gallons of gasoline burning into the air. It's not only going to save the environment, it's going to help create really good paying jobs. We're providing tax credits for folks who buy electric vehicles. It's not only the right thing to do, but it's cheaper on the taxpayer.
Right.
My wife Jill, who's a Philly girl. If I didn't root like hell for every Philadelphia team, I'd be sleeping alone. Well, you think I'm kidding? Jimmy knows whoa.
Jimmy,
Anyway,
What?
Jimmy knows how
I've
it
increased my budget.
Jimmy knows
The past
how
2
a
years,
sleeping
we've created,
habits
as I
at
said,
home.
12 million jobs, more than 2 years than any president's done in 4 years. We have the world's leading economy. We have the world's best roads, bridges, ports, airports. When we
Germany
were
about
back
that.
in leading the world, we and you
Tell Netherlands about the ports.
are going to spend. We're going to spend $1.2 trillion over 10 years to rebuild the infrastructure of this country. How can you lead the world if you have second-rate ports, highways, drinking water, et cetera?
Yeah, but you just said
We're delivering high-speed internet
the
to every
opposite.
home in America, so no parent has to drive
Go to
up to the
McDonald's.
McDonald's parking lot to help do the homework with their kid because they can't get on the internet. But here's the deal. I've been
Internet.
criticized for this next piece. I probably could criticize for a lot before that, too, but for this next piece. You know, I wonder how many people knew,
who's he talking to?
talked about, quote, the supply chain before the pandemic. everybody knows what the supply chain is now. We're going to be at the beginning of the supply chain, not the end of the supply chain. Intel came to me and said they wanted to invest. They're going to invest $20 billion. It's already started to build 2 chip fabs, they call them, factories. Well, guess what? It's going to create 12,000 jobs. Excuse me. Yeah, I think it's 12,000 jobs. But my budget's about more than chips. It's about science as well. Like I said, we used to do 2% of our gross domestic product. We're doing research today. It's now less than, we're getting closer to 1%, but it's less than 1%. MAGA Republicans are calling for defunding the police department and defunding the FBI now. That's a good one. I like that one. We talk about crime. Well, it's outrageous. My budget invests in public safety, and we're going to fund proven strategies for accountable and effective community policing so cops know the communities they serve, where they know the people, where they stop in and they know the guy who owns the liquor store. They know the preacher who runs the local school, the local ministry. They know the person who runs the local grocery store.
Yeah, that guy.
When we did that in the Biden crime bill, crime just plummeted. My son made sure the cops gave their phone numbers to people in the neighborhood with a commitment they'd never say where they got the information. And guess what?
It's crazy.
Violent crime dropped because she could pick up the phone and call
What?
and say,
Sorry, speak up, sir.
Outside. I can hear them. They're talking about this we're going to do.
What?
I will protect Social Security and Medicare without any change. I won't allow them to be gutted or eliminated, as MAGA Republicans threaten to do. MAGA Republicans' proposal is not an answer. On Social Security, my budget will not cut benefits, and it will definitely won't sunset programs like some of my MAGA Republican friends want to do. Well, yeah, when those folks stand up there, liar, liar, Biden's a liar. That gentle lady from the state of Georgia, mountains there. Well, no, I didn't say it for that reason, but here's the deal. Well, guess what? They're all on camera. I'm counting on them keeping their word. But just in case they don't, I'm around. Anyway, and the budget I'm introducing today is going to reduce the deficit by nearly $10 billion or $3 billion, $1 trillion over 10 years.
Three utilities was million, gazillion,
Another big
pavilion.
disagreement with my MAGA Republicans. And by the way, this ain't your father's Republican Party. We paid the so-called
No,
PPP
it's his
program.
Democrat Party.
We paid significant. I think it's $900 billion.
That's made up.
I think don't hold me that number. But well over nine.
Exactly.
For anybody who had a tough time with their
Every
business
number.
during the pandemic.
You rehearsed that?
So they could pay employees. They could do But guess what? You may remember I was running for office at the time, but you all may remember it, that I had a big fight with the former president and maybe future president. Bless me, Father. Anyway, no, all kidding aside. And folks, over the last 2 years, we made a lot of things a lot of progress with Republican help as well.
So,
Sadly, from what I'm hearing, House Representatives these days, they're suggesting that cooperation may have come to an end. That's why I talk about the MAGA Republicans. This is not your father's Republican Party, as I said before. MAGA Republicans are threatening to default on the national debt. I just laid out the bulk of my budget. Republicans in Congress should do the same thing. My Republican friends said they want to reduce the deficit, but they did the math. We did the math on what they've put forward so far. And our estimate, I'm happy to be proven wrong, my plan is going to reduce the deficit by $3 trillion over 10 years.
Yeah, sure.
Based on what we know so far about their plan, it's going to explode the deficit by more than $3 trillion over the next 10 years.
Oh, wow.
If I'm wrong, show me. I have never been more optimistic about America's future than I am today. I mean that sincerely. As you can tell, I've only been around a few years.
Hit the hook.
Like 400.
Was that 9 minutes or 90 minutes?
Did he just say he's going to lose to Trump?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I heard.
And he also said a staggering number of 100 million, gazillion, gabillion, gazillion, gajillion.
Anytime he gives you a number, it's made
His
up.
whole staff just starts shaking.
There's not one number he gives you that is an actual number that somebody gave him.
this isn't calculus.